There's been a lot of chatter around the NBA lately. Even on here, I've come on here and talked about the All-Star game. I talked about the changes that need to be seen for All-Star weekend to make it palatable again. And I alluded to this, but you're seeing it more and more and more and more and more throughout the NBA spaces. And that is the way that the NBA is covered. A lot of the topics that we've heard recently about the NBA is connected to the way the NBA is covered. Whether you talk about All-Star Weekend and how the coverage around All-Star Weekend has changed. Whether you talk about the Anthony Edwards comments about being the face of the league, a lot of that is due to the way the NBA is covered. And the reason why I've seen other smaller, when I say smaller, I meant smaller in terms of the NBA platforms talk about this. Like I seen Kenny, I forgot his Beach something. Kenny, he's shouts out to you, bro. Inspiration from what you do in the media space, sports media space. I saw him talking about it. I seen Gilbert Arenas and Gil's Arena talk about this. I saw Shannon Sharp and Nightcap talk about this. I saw Cameron and Mace, It Is What It Is, talk about this. And I wanted to, obviously my toe in my proverbial pond is much smaller, or my footprint in this sports pond is much, much smaller, but I wanted to give my take on it. If you ever, and this is also Spirit, because LeBron James said something about it, so I definitely wanted to talk about it. If you ever wanted to know how important the relationship is between an organization and how the organization is covered, look at the NBA. It is important that let me give you guys an example before I move on. Now, this is to the extreme, like extreme. But I understand it. Do you guys remember that announcer for the Baltimore Orioles? The Baltimore Orioles had an announcer. I forgot his name. I apologize, bro. Think you're great at your job. The Baltimore Orioles had an announcer, and one game, I don't remember who it was against the Blue Jays. And he was expressing how difficult it has been for the Orioles. Mind you, he is an Orioles commentator. He, or play-by-play analyst or something like that. He was describing how the Blue Jays have dominated the series as of recently with the Orioles. And again, he didn't say anything wrong. He didn't say anything not factual. He was just highlighting the fact that the Orioles have struggled with the Toronto Blue Jays in recent memory. That proceeded, or the Orioles proceeded to suspend him. I don't know if he's back. I hope he is. But they proceeded to suspend him because he was essentially talking down on the Orioles while covering the Orioles. Now, I'm not saying that they're right. I think that they were wrong. I think that they overplayed their hand. I think that they were just over sensitive about honesty. But I understand how important it is, I understand how important your image is. Your image is everything. And you're hiring people to enhance your image. No, I do not think that the Orioles should have suspended Homie because he didn't do anything except tell the truth. But I understand that the truth made the Orioles look bad. And they don't want somebody on their broadcast making them look worse. Let me bring it back to the NBA. Whether we talk about All-Star Weekend, whether we talk about these games that happen every single night, whether we talk about the face of the league, whether we talk about the league in general, it is shocking to me how negative the NBA coverage is about the NBA. I have one of the prime examples. If you want a prime example about this, did you see how Draymond Green was talking about All-Star Weekend the entire time? Almost every single time we saw Draymond Green, he was crapping on the NBA and their format with All-Star Weekend, how All-Star Weekend is being executed, the All-Star game, the format. He was crapping on it. If you look at, and shouts out to everyone, I'm not bashing anyone, I'm just being honest. If you look at how some people come in and talk about the NBA on Inside the NBA or NBA Today with ESPN or Fox or these former players that have platforms, I think it's great that you have your own platform, but it seems like there is more negative commentary surrounding the NBA than it's ever been, which I think is shocking because I've said before, I think this is the golden age of the NBA. I said this last episode. This is the best the NBA has ever been. Every team except maybe one or two has a star. And even those one or two, I'm thinking about Portland and I'm thinking about Washington. Scoot Henderson has an opportunity to be a star moving forward. And Washington, while they don't have a star, they have a young nucleus that could be very exciting moving forward. So this is the golden age of the NBA. I just think it's crazy how the NBA is being talked about. And on top of that, the way the NBA is being talked about is lessening the experience of the viewer, which i.e. makes ratings go down and makes the relationship between the NBA and the fans go down because the people that they listen to break down the NBA, talk about the NBA, is usually negative. And this segment was speared because LeBron James was asked a question about Anthony Edwards not wanting to be the face of the NBA. And LeBron said, yeah, why would he want to be the face of the NBA when every single time you hear someone cover the NBA, they crap on it? Why would you want that type of scrutiny? It's like, I don't get it. The NBA, in my opinion, is the best league in the world. Obviously, I'm a bigger basketball fan than football fan, so I'm sure somebody in the comments will be like, what about the NFL? I get it. But even if you look at the NFL, you don't hear people, you hear a level of care when you talk about how they discuss, even former athletes discuss the game. But I just don't. Yes, the NBA is not perfect. I understand that. There are some issues with the NBA. There are some issues with, some things with the NBA. But there's issues with every single league. No league is perfect. Hell, you can go down the list. Every league has things to work on. Even the unrivaled, the new league, has things to work on. But I don't think it's in the unrivaled's best interest to continue to broadcast people and hire people that is going to crap on the game. And that's the issue that the NBA faces. That's, in my opinion, one of the biggest reasons why Anthony Edwards doesn't want to be the face of the league, because the league is in such a fragile place because the people that cover it. Like, don't get me wrong, man. I love Inside the NBA. We all love Inside the NBA. We love Ernie. We love Shaq. We love Kenny. We love Charles Barkley. But they're famous for crapping on the league. They're famous on crapping on games that they're covering. We love Stephen A. Smith. We know how important Stephen A. Smith is to the sports realm. But Stephen A. Smith is famous for crapping on the league. And then you have PK Subban. I said I didn't want to talk about this when I was covering All-Star Week, but you have PK Subban, who's not even a part of the NBA. He's part of the NHL, was crapping on the league. And that was going around for a couple days. So my thing is this. Do these people really want the league to grow? Or do they just want their voices to be heard? And they understand that the way you get your voice to be heard is by going against the grain or joining the party, which is crapping on the league that you're being paid to cover. And you're wondering why ratings are down. Nobody wants to hear you crap on their favorite team. Even if their favorite team has flaws, there's better ways to address it. Even if the NBA has flaws, there's better ways to address it. We've gotten to it again. People in my comments was shocked when I said that this is the golden age of basketball. They're like, whoa, what about the early 90s or the 80s with Michael Jordan? Or what about the early 2000s with LeBron and Kobe and Shaq and AI and, your favorite players, AI? What about... I never said that those eras weren't great at basketball. I mainly said this is the golden age of basketball because we've never seen this much talent throughout the league. Hell, the Pelicans have one of the worst records in the league. They still have Zion Williamson. The Raptors have one of the worst records in the league. They still have Scotty Barnes and Brandon Ingram. The Jazz have one of the worst records in the league. They still have Lauri Markkanen. He hasn't been playing great this year, but he's still a star. But the way that the NBA and the league is covered, you wouldn't think. You'd think that what I said is blasphemous. I think the league has to do a better job at covering itself. I think the league and the people that cover the league have a responsibility of growing the league. You have a responsibility of making a casual or a novice fan understand that they're watching the best product of basketball they can watch. And it seems like as of recently, the media, us, we have failed at that. So, yes, I think that there's a lot of things that contribute to the ratings being down. I think one of the biggest contributors to that is the way that the NBA is being covered. by the people that is paid to promote the product. The players can only do so much, but if you're getting crapped on night after night after night by the people that are supposed to big up the sport, I understand why a player as talented as Anthony Edwards wouldn't want to be the face of the league, because why would I want to inherit that? We have to do better as media. Again, I know that I have a small, very small footprint in this large ecosystem that is the NBA and sports in general. I know the Unpopular Podcast is a extremely small footprint, but a footprint nonetheless. So I have a responsibility as well to talk about the game. I'm not saying don't be honest, but I'm saying there's a way of being honest and not crapping on the product in which you want to grow. That's all I'm saying. We need to do better. Oh man, you stayed to the end of the video. I appreciate you. If you like what you saw, be sure to hit that subscribe button so you'll never miss any content from your boy. You can also go back and watch past episodes, past clips, and don't forget that the Unpopular Podcast, new episodes drop every Wednesday and Saturday. Appreciate you.